So I interviewed John Nemi, who is my next door neighbor, and has been since I moved to Troy in second grade. And kind of what I'm going to do is I chose kind of three different words that he said. Um, they could also relate to his wife because his wife kind of had to help talk about it too. And then also I interviewed his oldest son, who is now 17 and a junior in high school, and I asked kind of about his experience and to give me three words that he felt. But first, to kind of understand those words, you have to have a backstory. So the backstory is in 2009, John was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he had a brain tumor the size of a man's fist. At first, they just thought it was a sinus infection and nothing like this major, clearly. He was having some like memory loss, but they said it was nothing like huge. It'd just be like, hand me those, and they'd have to help him, like, hand me those scissors. So he would just forget words, and they assumed it was old age, which at the time he was only 39, so it's not super old, but they still just didn't really think it could be a tumor. But on Easter Sunday, his brother-in-law told him that he needed to go see a doctor, and John was very hesitant. He said no because he's like most guys, he doesn't want to have help from other people. But so they went home, and then his brother-in-law came to the house and was like, you really need to go. I can get you in to see a neurologist today. Or not today, but sooner than most people. So 2 weeks later, he went to see the neurologist, and turned out he did have a tumor. So they got him into surgery as soon as they could, and it was a 10-hour surgery. But there was a complication with it because his palate was too low, and he was bleeding a lot, and so the anesthesiologist team helped him out and actually saved his life when realizing that he was losing way too much blood, and the doctor said if he would have continued, that John would have lost his life. So they pretty much redid the surgery a little later once his palate levels were back to normal, and the tumor is pretty much gone. And that was in November of 2009. And in December, the tumor had come back because they thought they got all of it, but they really didn't. He even went through chemo, like the highest level, had to go through to Cincinnati, which is about an hour away from us every day for 35 days, and to get his treatment, but still didn't completely go away. And it actually was coming back at a faster rate than usual, and because it's a fast-growing cancer. So basically, they kind of did some research because it's a rare cancer. So they did some research seeing where they could go, and there's actually this doctor in Texas that specializes in John's type of cancer. So they actually got really lucky because the first doctor trained underneath that doctor, so they got in faster with that as well. So that surgery was a 15-hour surgery. They had to remove some of his thigh and put it on his face, and it, for the most part, went smoothly. They were nervous because they thought the tumor was touching the brain, and like you have to take everything around the tumor so it doesn't like regrow. So they were scared they we're gonna have to like do something to the brain, but they didn't because there was a pocket of fluid between the tumor and the brain. This leads me into my first word is miracle. They said they had a lot of those just with the different situations of getting lucky and getting in fast to all the surgeries with the pocket of fluid so that he didn't have as many issues after the surgery as most people would. And then also there's fear. he didn't have as much fear for himself as fear of leaving his 4 children, young children, behind and not getting to see them kind of like grow up and stuff like that. But he said, like, when he first found out, he found peace within himself. So that kind of knocked away the fear. And then also their faith. They have been a very religious family since I've known them. They're always there to help, always there to give a prayer if you need it. And so even throughout all this, you think most people would just kind of give up on their faith, but it actually strengthened it because they would get prayer requests, and their prayer requests, the exact ones, would be answered. They got payments in the mail of the exact payment of the medical bills. So a lot of things just helped them out throughout their faith. And I thought that was pretty awesome. So John is doing pretty great right now and doesn't have to go back to Texas for a while. All his kids are grown up. And speaking of kids, I interviewed the oldest one. His name's Caleb Nemi, and he's 17 years old. Nicest kid you will ever meet. But he kind of was in a hurry. So I just asked him to give me 3 words and kind of just a little description of each. So his 3 words were scared, faith, and amazing. So I think Caleb was probably like 17 now. He's probably like 12, 13 at the time that this was going on. So for a middle schooler to go through this, that's pretty rough. But he said scared because, I mean, who wouldn't be scared? You have the chance of losing your dad. He said to see him go through it, what he went through. It was just really scary. But then he said there's his faith, which really helped him a lot because it brought peace on him, that knowing, like, this isn't just where your life's going to end. It's going to continue on after, and also just knowing that God's going to make sure everything is okay. And then also amazing because seeing how they grew together and how much stronger their family got, and then also just how his dad made it through it and pushed through it, and how all of them did too. So, and personally, this makes me want to get back to my faith more because I kind of have veered off since my senior year. I used to be very close to God, but talking to him really made me want to refine my faith. So it was pretty awesome. And there's also a video of it, and it gives a little more detail about the story. If you want to go to Vimeo or Vizio, I think it was Vimeo, Vimeo. You can go there and you just type in "trusting in the midst of struggles" and it should pop up. So if you wanted to see more of that, go ahead and go there. All right, bye.